You anticipating starting week 1?
Do I anticipate?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm confident in my abilities, but if that's a decision that they gotta make. That's above
And I
me.
ain't asked you. Stop
That's what I'm
with the bullshit,
saying. That's
man.
that's the decision.
Do you, as the number 2 pick in the draft, anticipate starting?
I mean,
Or you think they're gonna bring you along slowly, so to speak?
From what I heard, when they said whenever I'm ready, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So whenever I feel like I'm ready, I'm ready.
We all know why Jayden Daniels is here. He's here to be our franchise quarterback. And we do believe in him. And I think a lot of people feel like Jayden Daniels is that guy. And no matter who you talk to. And that may be because RG3 said he's better than he was when he was coming out of college. Or that may be because they compare him to Joe Burrow. Or that may be because they compare him to CJ Stroud. It may be the fact that he won a Heisman Trophy. It may be the fact that he was considered to be the first overall pick at one point. We know for a fact he is not a backup quarterback. And we know by us bringing him here, it's similar to what we did a few years ago with RG3. And we understand that things have to be extremely different in order for us to be successful with Jayden Daniels. So we went out and got guys like Marcus Mariota, a guy in the locker room who has been at the top and the bottom of the league, a guy that has been a second overall pick, a guy that understands what it takes to stay in this league year after year. So his knowledge of the game is perfect for a guy like Jayden Daniels coming in. So we knew that this year was very crucial for us, seeing that we haven't been in this position to get a quarterback in a very long time. And now that we have this opportunity, we took advantage of it and we got Jayden Daniels, who some feel was the best quarterback in the draft. But some people are feeling like Jayden Daniels is not confident in his skill level because of what he said on Keyshawn Johnson's podcast. And let me help you understand this. It's not the fact that Jayden Daniels is not confident in his skill and what he can do. It's the fact that he's not trying to be disrespectful. He's not trying to harm his situation by going to a new team and talking down on players that are put here to help him. And Jayden Daniels is a guy that has great character and he doesn't showboat and he's a humble guy. So when it comes to being disrespectful or talking about somebody else, he doesn't entertain it. This was one of those moments where Keyshawn Johnson was just trying to bait him in, see what Jayden Daniels was going to say and how he was going to react when it came to talk about the Commanders and him starting. And he did a great job at answering that question the way he did. Of course, it might have been an irritating question, but this is not an unfamiliar question. Of course, the interview was very aggressive and discomforting, but I felt like this was still a question that anybody could have asked. And he answered it very well. And one, he was very respectful to the players on his team and not just any player, but Marcus Mariota. And he didn't address him as a backup, even though Keyshawn Johnson may have said it. But he addressed him as a guy that they brought in to help him. That's a guy that they brought in. When you step back and look at what Jayden Daniels said, of course, it didn't seem like the most macho thing to do or the most confident thing to do, but it was the most respectful thing. I think him answering that question the way he did allowed him not to add any extra pressure to himself. Because think about it. If he was to say, yeah, I expect to be a starter, imagine what type of pressure he would put on himself inside of the locker room when it comes to being around Marcus Mariota or any of the other quarterbacks. Of course, we know what he's capable of. Of course, we know what he can do. Of course, he knows what he can do. But in some ways, that can be looked at as being disrespectful. And you got to remember, he's a rookie coming in. Of course, if he was like in his third year and he's been a starter back-to-back years, we wouldn't look at it, or the team wouldn't look at it as being disrespectful. We would just say this is expected of him. You know what I'm saying? Like last year, for example, Jacoby Brissett, a guy that has been in the league for a very long time, he was asked last season if he felt like he should be a starter coming to the Commanders, and the fact that we already had Sam Howell here. And he said yes, he felt like he was coming to be a starter. But that wasn't any disrespect on Sam Howell. It was just the fact that he's been in the league for a very long time. He's been a veteran for a very long time. So one would think that he would want to start and not be behind Sam Howell. But, of course, we know how that played out. And that may have been the best thing for us last season, seeing that the year prior he was with the Browns and he did a great job. Being a rookie coming in, you can't be disrespectful in what you say, but you got to pay attention to how you say it and what you're saying. And I think every time Jayden Daniels speak, it's about himself and what he can do and what he can do for this team. And I like that. And I think we have a great guy that we don't have to worry about character issues. We don't have to worry about if he's going to blend with the locker room, because he's a hard worker already. And we've seen that come from Zach Ertz, Cliff Kingsbury. We've seen that from almost everybody. We've heard a lot of people speak about Jayden Daniels, and we've only heard good things about him and his work ethic and the fact that he takes advantage of every opportunity. It just shows how dedicated he is to this craft and how much he cares about it. That's what teams love. They love a guy that's dedicated and don't need to be pushed by anybody else but themselves to love the game of football, to do the game of football, to practice, to study. And I think that's one thing that's going to get us to the playoffs, that's going to get us that Super Bowl win with Jayden Daniels. It may not be this year. It may be next year. It may be the year after that. But I can see it. I can feel like he's capable of doing it. But let me know how y'all feel about this situation. Do you feel like Jayden Daniels is not confident in his skills? Or do you feel like he is? He's just a humble guy, and he's just one of those guys that's not going to step on toes and that's not going to be disrespectful, and he just knows how to handle every situation. And definitely subscribe to the channel, and I'm out.